Number 1 is Mo Donegal by Uncle Mo. And they're off in the Remsen. As they come on for the finish, and it's going to be tight here in the Remsen. Mo Donegal bearing down on the outside. It's Mo Donegal and early voting, and it is Mo Donegal to win the Wood Memorial. And it will be Mo Donegal to win the Test of the Champion, the Belmont Stakes.
Hello everybody, Mike Welsch coming to you from Churchill Downs, now only a week out from the 2024 Kentucky Derby, and I'm here again with the Daily Racing Form Kentucky Derby Workout Report, brought to you by the good folks at Spendthrift Farm, the home of Kentucky Derby winner and Horse of the Year Authentic, whose first crop of 2-year-olds hit the races this year. Well, you know the old saying, they save the best for last. Well, I think today the best came first, the best of the 9 Derby horses that worked this morning here at Churchill Downs. I thought the best of those works, in my opinion anyway, came from Enino. Now, Enino is a horse that has caught my eye here all week long since his victory came over here, since his victory in the Lexington. His connections have been on the fence still, whether to enter him in the Derby or not, coming back in just 3 weeks rest off of that race. But I think it took them 59.44 seconds, which is exactly the time it took Enino to work 5/8 of a mile this morning in company with his much more highly regarded stablemate at this point, Louisiana Derby winner Catching Freedom. And sure enough, a few hours after the work, Encino's name was dropped in the entry box, and those entries will be drawn tonight during the races at Churchill Downs. But if you wanted to see Encino's work this morning, you had to get here really early. The track opens at 5:15. I think they let the Cox team on special. They let him out about 5:12. So if you weren't here at 5:15, you didn't see this work, because they were out there on the track all by themselves, and it was worth getting up early to see this. Breaking off at the 4.5 furlong pole, as most of the Brad Cox 5 furlong workout teams do. They finished a 16th of a mile past the wire. I had them in 36 for the opening 3As, 59-2, and out 6 furlongs in 1:12. Galloped out 7/8 in 1:26-2. Enino broke off almost a length behind Catching Freedom, and with jockey Florent Giroux in the saddle, and he was loaded all the way. He finally stuck his head in front of Catching Freedom near mid-stretch, and then he maintained the advantage the whole way, well in hand and widest around that turn too on the gallop out. So a thumbs up for Enino today, and I think he could be a live long shot coming into next week's Derby. He is one of that team is 2 of 3 Brad Cox horses will run in the Derby, and the third of that group was the first worker at the 7:30 to 7:45 a.m. Derby Oaks special workout session, where all 7 of the other Derby workers waited till that time frame in a fresh track after being renovated to work today. And just a touch, went solo today, not in company. He went 4 furlongs and 48 and 5/8 out in a minute and 3/5. He went from the half-mile pole. I took him 48 and then a minute and 3, not the 4.5. Galloped out in 13-4. Also had Florent Giroux aboard, and it was a good work, nothing special. I think maybe going solo, you don't get the juices flowing as much as if you do if you go in company, as Enino and Catching Freedom did. He's one of the horses that are being well regarded behind the 2 logical favorites of Fierceness and Sierra Leone, and I see nothing from this work today that would make me change my mind if you are on his bandwagon. Now, Sierra Leone, speaking of Sierra Leone, he's going to be the second choice of the Derby. He worked in company with stablemate Domestic Product today for trainer Chad Brown. They also went 5/8 from the 5/8 pole, 36-2, a minute and a fifth. Sierra Leone kind of had a slight edge all the way around, but I loved what I saw from Domestic Product. He gave him everything he can handle. He was pretty hard held coming to the wire and going out around the turn. He also was widest on the turn, so they lose some ground there too. He stayed about a head back, but I just like what I saw for him. Now, I think he's a live player in the Derby too. He hasn't run in 8 weeks. His numbers aren't as big as a lot of the more fancied horses in here, but I thought he worked well. His last 2 works I saw at Payson Park, and then coming here today, what I saw this morning, I like Domestic Product. He's on my short list of live long shots in this year's Derby. Danny Gargan, as he did last week, worked his Derby pair, Dornock, and Society Man in Company. They went quick, 23 for the opening quarter. I had them 47 for a half. I thought Dornock down near the rail was going easier of the pair there. And then both were kind of asked to go 5/8 and 59-3. They galloped out in 12-4 and both seemed to be doing fine coming into the Derby. Kenny McPeak, Mystic Dan, last week 59 and change. Went a little bit easier this week. Kind of geared it down the late stages today. I had 36-1. He was in company with Elephant Ears, and they finished in a minute and change with the riders on both horses. I'm not sure if Kenny is in their ear with a walkie-talkie like many of the other trainers are when the horses work, but whatever reason, the riders looked like they were purposely gearing these two horses down at the wire. And the last of the Derby workers this morning, West Saratoga. All the Derby horses have to be on the ground here had to be by 11 this morning. So he was one of the last ones to come in, and he blew out 3/8, 37-4, up a half in 50-4. On the Oak side of the ledger today, we did have some works this morning. Chad Brown had regulatory risk. The Gazelle runner-up work what looked like a maintenance half, 49-3, in company with stablemate Weigh the Risks. And Lemon Muffin went real fast early, flew today, a serious work for her. She went 22, 33 and change, paid the price late, got a little tired, but still 58-1 for 5 furlongs with not much on the gallop out. A couple other horses of note today on the track that I saw Derby-wise during that 15-minute window. Catalytic, I thought looked good today. And a nice energetic gallop, better than a 2-minute clip, and he's scheduled to work here tomorrow. First look at T.O. Password for me today. Didn't do a lot, just kind of canted around with a stablemate in front of him. Got kind of hot in the coat. Now the temperature moderated today after all the cold mornings we've talked about. It was in the mid-60s today when the track opened. A much more pleasant day for everybody concerned, but it did take a little bit of a toll on T.O. Password. And Grandmo the First up from Florida. He is not going to have any more Derby works. He did all his work down there. Just an easy morning today, cantering around today. Now tomorrow, like I said, Catalytic is scheduled to work. I think we could have at least 2 or 3 more. Among the others, potentially Track Phantom, Resilience for trainer Bill Mott, and Just Steel is overdue for trainer Wayne Lucas. I'm pretty sure we probably will see him tomorrow. So even though today was a big day, there's still plenty more to talk about, plenty more works to come as we get closer and closer to Derby 2024. So keep it right here. We'll be here watching these all-important final works still to come and see how all these horses come out of these works, which is just as important. So for the best coverage in 2024 Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Oaks, it's right here at DRF.com.